New Deep Dive.
Have you ever wondered if there's like a whole other layer to reality? A world maybe of unseen energy, connections that could actually help us heal? Today, we're doing a deep dive into someone truly extraordinary, Barbara Zalewska. She's described as a therapeutic clairvoyant. Our mission really is to unpack how someone can, well, not just see into these unseen realms, but actually use that ability to help people, help them heal, transform their lives by getting to the deeper energetic roots of their problems. We're drawing this from a really fascinating conversation she had on the YouTube channel Cyprian Mature. So, okay, let's unpack this term first. Therapeutic clairvoyant. It's not exactly common language, is it? What does she actually mean by that? What's her purpose?
That's a great place to start, yeah. It really defines her whole approach. Barbara explains her main focus is helping people, mostly with health issues, that's primary, but also quite significantly with relationships too. And the clairvoyant bit, it's not just vague insights. She's very clear that she does see the future.
Okay, wow. Actually seeing the future.
Exactly. And that foresight, that ability to see potential problems coming down the line, that's what allows her to help prevent things or guide people onto a better path. Then the therapeutic part. Well, that means she's facilitating real healing, usually over multiple sessions. It's not a quick fix. It's about helping people understand the root of their issues, and this is crucial, teaching them how to help themselves. Self-help is key.
Right, so it's that direct foresight, the actual prediction element that really sets her apart from just general intuition. She emphasizes that, doesn't she?
She absolutely does. Now, thinking about where this gift comes from, Barbara sees it as divine, innate, something she was born with, not something she learned in a course. Though she did spend years honing it, personal growth, understanding universal vibrations, all that. But the capacity itself, she felt it very young. Started around 14 or 15, she says. And by 20, she was reading dreams. That's when she considers her serious work really began and how she perceives the world. It's fascinating. Like, she actually sees patterns in the air, especially in dim light, like semi-darkness. She even suggests an exercise for anyone. Try looking at the patterns on your ceiling before sleep. Says it helps calm the mind.
Interesting, like a visual meditation.
Kind of, yeah. And beyond the visual, she senses people's intentions.
Yeah.
Just by being near their energy field, that aura around us.
Wow, imagine that in dating or just meeting people. You'd get an instant feel for where they're coming from.
Exactly. Which leads to the big question, right? Ethics.
Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting. If she can sense all that, does she just walk around seeing everything, everyone's secrets, their intentions? How does she handle privacy?
That's super important to her. She has a very high moral threshold, as she puts it. She absolutely never enters someone's energy field without clear, explicit consent. Not even family. No exceptions.
Okay, that's reassuring.
And if you do go to her for help, she warns you up front. I see everything. That includes difficult things, potential death, illness, accidents. She doesn't shy away from it. But her goal, always, is to find an antidote, a solution, a way through it. She won't sugarcoat it, but she's looking for the positive path, and she insists the information has to come directly from her. No intermediaries. She sees herself as just a channel, not the source. So the message has to be pure.
A direct channel, okay. And her healing approach, where does she start?
Always with the soul, or the subconscious, you could say. That's the starting point. Her explanation is that all our life experiences, every memory, every emotion, it's all meticulously recorded there in the subconscious, whether we remember it consciously or not. And the physical stuff, ailments like tumors, even something like a broken bone, she calls that the heaviest form of energy.
Heaviest form.
Meaning it's like the final, most dense manifestation.
Yeah.
The body's last resort, almost, to signal an underlying energetic imbalance, like a big alarm bell going off.
That really puts the mind-body connection front and center. But she makes this one claim that's, well, it's pretty bold. She says all tumors originate from emotions. That's a huge statement, especially compared to, standard medical thinking. How does she explain that? What about things like genetics or physical injury?
Yeah, she's very firm on that. She sees it as a fundamental law from her perspective. For her, consciousness comes first. That influences our emotions. And our emotions directly impact the physical body. It's a direct chain. She gives examples. Like a woman with a neck tumor. Barbara saw it as an emergency button. Years and years of repressed anger towards her husband, finally manifesting physically.
Wow.
Another one. A man with chronic iron deficiency. She traced it back energetically to a childhood fascination he had with a furnace poker. Symbolically, he lacked fire, vitality in his adult life.
So the physical symptom is just the endpoint of an emotional or energetic story.
That's exactly her view. Address the root emotion, the energy blockage, and the physical body can then start to shift. It's not about ignoring the physical, but understanding its origin. And this ties into the idea of Akashic records. Have you heard of those?
Vaguely, yeah, like a universal library of everything.
Kind of, yeah. A sort of universal chronicle holding all information past, present, potential future. She views our lives as cycles, incarnations, and she accesses information about past lives, not out of curiosity. She stresses that.
Right, it has to be therapeutic.
Exactly. It's to resolve problems now. She looks for recurring patterns, these common denominators, across lifetimes that are causing issues today. Like she mentioned a case where a husband kept cheating. Turns out, in a past life, the roles were reversed. The wife was a betrayer. Understanding that helped them find forgiveness, release that burden.
So understanding the past helps break the cycle in the present.
Precisely. It's about finding the root cause,
Yeah.
even if it's lifetimes ago. And it's not just about problems. Sometimes it unlocks potential.
Like that story about the violinist.
Yes, that was amazing. A mother asked about her daughter's talents. The girl's only 7, never touched a violin. But Barbara sees her clearly as this magnificent violinist. She sees past lives as a musician, a troubadour, someone playing Japanese string instruments.
Incredible.
Mother listens, got her daughter violin lessons. And the girl just flew. Did like 4 years of study in 2. It shows how these insights can actually guide destiny, unlock something already there.
It really broadens the perspective on talent and potential. So beyond past lives, she also talks about life cycles, right? These 7-year phases.
Yes, absolutely. She maps out these distinct 7-year cycles that she believes shape our development and purpose. It's quite structured, like 0 to 7 years, that's when kids are super intuitive, really connected to the subconscious. They experience life. They don't just intellectualize it.
Makes sense. They seem so open.
Totally. Then age 14. That's supposedly when our future path, our profession, our core predispositions, they get subconsciously chosen.
14. Wow, that early.
Apparently so, in her view. Then 21. That's the peak time for the mind to absorb knowledge, a critical window for intense learning, soaking everything up.
Okay, 0-7 intuition, 14 path chosen, 21 peak learning. What's next?
28. Historically, she says this was the ideal age for starting a family and also for spiritual life. It aligns with the body's readiness for procreation and having a sort of clean mind, though she definitely acknowledges that's shifted massively in modern times.
Yeah, just a bit.
Then 35. That's when you should ideally be professionally stable, kind of settled in your career. 42. She calls this skimming the cream. Kids might be older, time to enjoy life more, pursue your own interests.
I like the sound of skimming the cream.
Me too. Then 49 or 50 onwards, that's a time for more intense energy development. Think yoga courses, things that foster mental balance, less rush. 56 plus, that's the age for passing on knowledge, teaching, mentoring, sharing what you've learned.
A phase of giving back.
Exactly. And then 60 plus, retirement. She says that should be a time to genuinely stop rushing, enjoy life, ideally without illness or needing lots of medication. She does add a little caution, though, about doing energy work just for money at this stage. Keep the intention pure.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how these cycles suggest this natural rhythm, this flow to life. And you look at modern society and maybe we're pushing against that flow a lot of the time, creating friction for ourselves.
That's a really good way to put it. We might be resisting what our bodies and spirits are naturally inclined towards at different stages. Now, in her actual practice, the healing work, she calls it quantum healing.
Quantum healing. Okay, what does that involve?
It means she's working at the quantum level, the most fundamental energetic level of our being, you could say, our blueprint. She describes it as going back in time energetically to change the frequencies, to literally delete the old unhealthy patterns that are causing the problem.
Delete them.
Delete them, and then create a new blueprint for the cells, basically allowing the body to remember and return to its original healthy state. And get that, she says she could do this remotely, just through conversation. Doesn't need to be physically present.
That's pretty mind-blowing. Does she have examples?
Oh, yeah. And they're impressive. She talks about a woman who's on dialysis, kidney failure. After working with Barbara, her kidneys apparently returned to normal function. Off dialysis. That's the claim. Another one. A man with terrible bed sores, really deep, widespread, down to the bone. Multiple skin grafts had failed. Barbara worked with him, and he experienced complete healing. Got back to an active life.
Those are incredible stories.
They really are. She does stress, though, especially with things like cancer, which she says she can decode, by finding the emotional root. 100% success isn't guaranteed. It heavily depends on the person, their willingness to truly let go of the underlying conflicts and maintain mental discipline afterwards.
Right. The person has to be an active participant in their own healing. Okay, let's unpack this. What does a session actually look like for her? What's her process when she does that deep dive into someone's energy?
She describes it pretty simply, actually. Someone comes to her with their problem. She asks herself internally, what is the energetic problem here? Then she just closes her eyes. And she says she immediately gets clear visions, or sometimes symbolic images.
Symbols, like what?
Well, she gave an example of seeing a waiter symbol for a woman who was always serving everyone else, neglecting herself, which led to her health issues. Another time, for someone struggling financially, she saw an image of them mowing for money, like working hard but not in the right way for abundance. The symbols are always directly relevant, she says, and she emphasizes how quickly the answers come, almost instantly.
Instant symbolic answers.
Right.
Quite different from talk therapy. Now, she also touches on death, souls. How does she approach that?
Her main focus is always life energy. She generally only engages with death if a soul seems stuck or needs help transitioning. Like, she mentioned helping a deceased wife who was still very attached to her children, helping her find peace and move on.
So it's about helping souls find peace.
Yes, and she strongly advises the living to let go of deceased loved ones. Holding on too tightly, she says, can actually trap the soul, and it can even cause physical issues for the person left behind. She told a story about a granddaughter who started having the same physical ailments as her deceased grandmother because of this unspoken, unresolved attachment.
Wow, so grief needs a healthy release.
Absolutely. Letting go allows both the living and the departed to move forward. She also addresses really tough topics, like suicide or murder. She suggests these can sometimes be karmic repayments from past lives. It's complex.
Meaning?
Subscribe. New Deep Dive.
We can't judge from the
Yeah,
surface.
Exactly. She emphasizes one cannot judge without understanding that deeper karmic context, which we usually don't have. Or childhood leukemia, another incredibly difficult subject. She suggests some tragedies are part of universal laws. A soul might choose that experience karmically for its own learning and for the learning of those around them.
That's a heavy concept. Very different perspective.
It is. She also briefly mentioned abortion, saying it's not always a sin in her view. Sometimes she believes a soul might enter just for a moment, maybe to provide a specific experience for the mother, like teaching her the value of life perhaps, to prevent potential mistreatment of future children. It's complex.
Very complex layers she's describing.
Definitely. And she shared this really vivid personal story. She was in a certified clairvoyant village in the U.S.
A clairvoyant village.
Yeah, apparently it's a thing. And she saw spirits there. Not like misty shapes, but like living people, playing chess, talking to each other. And they reacted to her energy when she entered the room, which, for her, was proof of their reality.
Whoa.
She describes spirits as cold energy, a distinct signature. And she says this energy can sometimes attach to living people. She mentioned a case of an autistic child who, she discovered, had two spirits attached to him. When she helped them move on, the child's behavior apparently returned to normal.
So, for you listening, how can you maybe apply some of these ideas? Start empowering your own journey. Barbara does offer some advice.
She does. First, it's about cultivating awareness. Really simple, practical stuff. Pay attention to your body. Where do you hold tension? Try to trace it back. What's the source? And notice the little things in daily life. Why did that person ask you the time just then? Small details could be cues from your subconscious or the universe.
Just being more present and observant.
Exactly. Then, for a more structured method, she highly recommends the Silva method.
Silva method, what's that?
It's a technique for activating the alpha brainwave state, that deep, relaxed state where you can more easily access subconscious insights. She finds it very effective for tapping into that inner knowledge.
Okay, something practical people can look into. What about parenting?
Ah, yes, parenting with awareness. This is big for her. She stresses how important it is for parents to observe their children's natural intuition. Don't dismiss it. Allow kids to experience the world naturally. And crucially, avoid cluttering their minds with too much unnecessary information too early.
Why is that?
Because she believes that's often why children lose their innate clairvoyance or strong intuition around school age. They get overloaded. She gave an example of a child being over-cared for, smothered almost, to the point where they lost their own opinion, their own inner guidance system.
Letting kids trust their gut, essentially.
Pretty much. And finally, her core message really boils down to healing the heart, cleansing your heart, loving others, and maybe hardest of all, forgiving yourself and forgiving others. She says this is absolutely crucial for healing and well-being, whatever your beliefs are.
Yeah.
It's fundamental.
So bringing this all back home, what does this mean for you listening? I think the takeaway is that so much in our lives, our relationships, money struggles, even health might have deeper roots, energetic roots, maybe karmic ones, things we don't normally see. It just offers a completely different lens to view our challenges and maybe our potential too.
Absolutely. And maybe the most important thing, the most provocative thought to leave you with, is her emphasis on letting go of guilt. Your own guilt and the guilt you might feel from others or project onto them. Instead, try to be an observer of your life. And find the courage to follow your own unique path in your thoughts, your words, your actions. And share that courage. This whole deep dive really, it shows how much more understanding, maybe even control we could gain if we're willing to look just a little bit beyond the obvious.
Subscribe. New Deep Dive.